Privacy, schmivacy. I'm just kidding. I actually think privacy is really important, but it's interesting to see what's happening. Google has another announcement recently, rolled out this month, and it's a continuation of the ongoing assault on cookies, basically. So we kind of knew some of this, but this is a very aggressive stance. Google comes out to say that once third-party cookies are phased out, we will not build alternative identifiers to track individuals as they browse across the web, nor use them in our products. Then they basically just pimp out FLoC here, is all they're doing. They're saying advances in aggregation, anonymization, and on-device processing. That's the one that really sticks out to me, on-device processing. Because if you go and read the literature associated with FLoC, they beat up fingerprinting really hard. And yet, it looks like they have something that is at least analogous to it, or I'm not understanding what's going on here. So, FLoC, if you're not familiar, is the federated learning of cohorts. This is where Google takes... So I have a video on it, and I won't dive too deep into it, but it's interesting to think about. Instead of being able to track people on a one-to-one, Cosm came to my website. Cosm looked at these 3 pages. They put Cosm into a group of thousands of people based on interests, and then they say, hey, these people, generally speaking, are interested in these things, and they do these things, and they put them in FLoCs, federated learning of cohorts, which is sort of a cute little acronym that kind of works both ways. So as I'm reading this, I was struck with the whole, like, what's in it for them? Obviously, because a $1 trillion brand doesn't give up their... This is their value proposition. This is their unique advantage. This is their competitive advantage. It's all the data. And here we go. This is what I'm getting at. So here's a quote. They're quoting this guy, Audi Gandon. Sorry, Audi, I'm sure I mispronounced that. But in the quote, he says, we've long since recognized and advocated for the importance of first-party data. And that's kind of when it struck me. Google is, trying to avoid antitrust suits. So I think what's happening here is we're having congressional hearings. People are finally interested in it, and they realize, like, okay, we can either be reactive to whatever legislation rolls out, and we have to play the pseudo GDPR game, but across our entire ecosystem. So you just take what it is that the Europeans made everybody do, and you roll it out in the States, but probably with teeth. Or they get proactive. So there's that. But then the other thing that's really interesting is Google owns all the first party data, and really what they're doing is they're just putting a guardrail up around everything that they have accessible to them. So they're not losing anything because we're still using their browser, their devices, their search. They're just not making that data accessible to advertisers, and they seem to believe that they have an algorithmic way of still connecting advertisers to the end user. And I think I believe them. So what Google just did is they just used privacy as a way of kind of enforcing their pre-existing monopoly. It's actually brilliant. So, it used to be that advertisers were able to collect data on prospects, on internet users, and Google is, which kind of kept the and not just advertisers, but it kept anybody who's collecting that data from being 100% at the mercy of Google. Because you have data that's your own, that's accessible inside of your own ecosystem, and then you get to use however it is that you want to use. Well, now that Google's, restricting all of that, you don't have those alternatives available. Like, there's so many little micro industries and niches that Google's basically just going to be able to, like, bam, just completely squash. And then other ones will prop up from here. So, the winners here, number one, I actually think it's going to be Google. At first, when I was looking at this, I was like, gosh, how do they contend with the rules that they're setting up for themselves? But it's not that they can't see, it's that you and I can't see. And I think the winners here are going to be people that do a really good job at full funnel marketing. So, and I'm a direct response marketer, mind you. We're a bottom of the funnel agency. So we're going to have to up our game there too. And honestly, I don't think that means that I'm going to change my service offering as much as it means that when I bring on clients, just like when Google went mobile first, I stopped bringing on clients that didn't have a good mobile site. Well, when Google goes, top of the funnel, full funnel, I'm going to stop bringing on clients that don't have the ability to speak to that narrative in some way. And that might be dangerous for me to say. It's not it's not like that we won't work with people, but if they don't have the wherewithal and the temperament of actually running a broader marketing narrative, then we're just going to have a more difficult time advertising for them. This is all going to take a lot of time, by the way, so I think we have time to contend with this and to see what happens, but it's interesting to see. So anyway, I'd be interested in your thoughts. I don't really know what all this means or what's going to happen, and I would love, honestly, just to converse with this with somebody. So comment if you have any comments, like, subscribe, all those good things. I shoot a video a day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.